Listen, if you want to create change and you want to do it right now, you know that coaching is the way to get it done. You go to someone who has the expertise, who's produced the result again and again, they've got a track record, and you get them to coach you. The challenge, of course, is getting somebody who's the best to work with you one-on-one is pretty darn difficult. In my own case, I'm privileged enough to get 7 figures to coach an individual for a year. But there is an opportunity for us to work together and for me to be able to coach you with the best of what I've learned in a process I've refined literally over 3 decades. And our events are all based around the idea of total immersion coaching. How do we get you to get the most explosive growth and change in your body, in your emotions, in your finances, in your relationship, in your career, in the shortest period of time? And how do we make it so damn fun that you can't believe it? Because most people, let's face it, if you say, I'm going to go to a seminar, I can't tell you how many people I've invited over the years. They're like, oh, I'm not going to sit there. I remember one particular celebrity friend who's like, I can't sit anywhere for more than 2 hours. And, I brought him to an event. And, this person is sitting at the event and their eyes are out of the back of their head. Their eyes are so big they can't even believe it. They're saying, this is the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I mean, you have to be curious. If you're watching this right now, you probably have heard or know somebody who's been to one of our events, and you've seen what's happened in their life. They've shared with you the results they've had, or you can check one of our videos or all the testimonials of results. The reason it works is because it's total immersion. But the reason they love it so much is it gets results. It works, and they love the process. I mean, you've got to be curious to think about how could we have an event where in one weekend, over the course of 3.5 days, you could get people where they said it was the greatest experience of their life, and many of them got dragged there by somebody else who'd already been saying, come on, trust me, you just got to try it. Some people didn't want to be there at all. But what happens is you go through a process that helps you to discover what controls the way you think, the way you feel, and what you do in your life. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion you experience in this lifetime is shaped by beliefs and values. All of your life is controlled by decisions you make. Decisions about what to believe, decisions about what to feel, decisions about what to do. And most of us are on automatic pilot, letting the world trigger us instead of taking back control of our life. And when you do that, just think of it this way. Anything you want to change. You want to change your body. You want to change your career, your business, your relationship. What to do requires the right strategy. If you want to lose weight and keep it off, you can't obviously just throw your pendulum and go on some silly diet. You got to know the things that are going to give you lasting results. So we teach those strategies. But some people even know what to do, but they don't do it. And why are we able to get people to do it, to follow through? Because 80% of success in anything, my friends, is psychology. And 20% is the mechanics. What that means is there's how to do stuff and there's why to do stuff. How to do it is not that complex. And if you really learn from somebody who knows those refined distinctions, they can show you those tipping points, those things you can do where in the least amount of time you get the biggest result. That's what I've spent 30 years basically studying. Like what makes couples go from wanting to kill each other to passionately want to make love together when they haven't done that for weeks or months or sometimes years. There's triggers that absolutely work. Or what makes somebody go from every single day overeating to one day, that's it, no more, and they make that shift where they do the things they've been talking about doing for years. I've had 3 decades of studying more than 4 million people from 100 countries. So at this point, I could be an idiot, and I'd have to be able to see that there's certain patterns in human behavior that make people crazy, make them frustrated, make them overwhelmed, make them depressed, make them give up. And there are other patterns that people have that absolutely light them up. They get them excited, they get them passionate, they get them where all of a sudden they develop a different habit, a different set of triggers where they find themselves following through consistently and doing the things that make what they dream about real. Those patterns, those triggers are really, really critical. So it's not enough to know just what to do. You got to know why you're going to do it, and you've got to align it with the way your brain functions. I know this sounds complex, but let me just tell you how we do this. We do it over the course of multiple days in total immersion with music and energy. And if you've never wanted to be in anything at all, but you enjoyed a rock concert or you enjoyed an NBA championship, you'll love this process as well. What I mean by that is, just imagine, most people in this life would never sit for a 3.5 hour movie that someone spent $200 or $300 million to make. They're too impatient. Our attention span just won't stay with that. And yet we do this all over the world. Do it in Australia with 5,000 people. Do it in London with 12,000 people. And we have headsets. We have people from all over the world coming. We often have, 4 different languages being translated. And I might have, like in Australia, Anthony Hopkins sitting in the audience who's, obviously incredibly successful, knighted by the Queen, Academy Award winner. I mean, why would he be there? Kind of got dragged there, but then he wouldn't leave, right? And I got a soccer mom from Germany, with a headset on, who's hearing everything translated, who's out of her mind. People stay from every walk of life, from virtually every culture you can imagine around the world. Because the process we're doing not only works, it's so much fun, it's so enjoyable, and it transforms your ability to meet your own needs. What does that mean? Well, everyone has different values, everyone has different goals or dreams, cultural background, religious beliefs. But human beings have something in common. We have the same fundamental needs. When your needs are met, you are lit up like a Christmas tree. You feel alive, you feel passionate. When your needs are not being met, you're going to feel a level of frustration or anger or fear or uncertainty or stress or maybe just boredom that just sucks the life out of a human being. All of us have 2 things we really want to master if you think about it. We have things we want to make better, change, or improve. I mean, I don't care who you are. If you're totally honest, there's always an area of our life we'd like to make better. If your career's perfect, your body's out of shape. If your body's great, you probably don't have enough time with your kids. If you spend all the time with your kids, your intimate relationship is probably not passionate. If your relationship's really passionate, maybe you're not taking care of your finances. I mean, it's the nature of human beings to focus on certain areas and miss others, and they tend to bite us later on. What I do is create a process where you're able to figure out what it is you really want in each of the areas of your life that are most important, what it is that's missing, show you where you want to, help you find out where you want to go, and then show you a set of strategies to maximize it. But then we click on the part that makes it all move forward, which is your emotion and your psychology. I mean, think about it. Information without emotion is forgotten. If I asked you, where were you on the day of, 9/11, no matter where you are in the world, American or not, most people remember the moment they heard it, what was around them, where they were, what they experienced. If I asked you, where were you on 6/11, most people have no clue. If I asked you anything I ask you about that has an emotional intensity to, there's this vivid understanding and memory. So what we do is take the information to change your life and attach an emotion to it within yourself that gets you to follow through. And that's what makes it enjoyable, and that's also what makes it work. In essence, here's what we do at all of our events. We do 3 things. Number 1, we get you totally focused. Focused on what matters most to you, not someone else. We don't decide for you. You decide what's most important. What do I want to make progress on? What do I want to change? What do I want to transform? And we put you in a state of just total laser focus. And when you're in that state, it feels incredibly powerful because most of us live our life bouncing around. I was meeting with some research recently where they talked about people today who are always multitasking, never focused. They're always doing 12 different things, never completely there. It's having an impact on the way our brains function. In fact, the journal in, I don't remember the exact journal, but the journal in Britain, the psychological journal that described this, did a long-term study and found that people that are constantly multitasking, never focusing, are creating a different structure in their brains. And it affects them. It slows them down. It makes them less powerful, less effective. We all know the power of focus. But when's the last time you got yourself out of the pattern of your daily life and got totally focused on what matters most to you and did it in a state where you felt strong, alive, passionate, and with other people that you could learn from and be immersed with? It's pretty rare, isn't it? So when you get totally focused on what you want, a simple principle is wherever focus goes, energy flows. If you spend all your time and focus on your career, but your career's doing great or doing better than most people's right now, if you put all your focus on your kids, I bet your kids are doing great and you have a great relationship with them. But the areas you're not focusing on are costing you. We're going to help you focus on the areas that matter most. Now, once you're totally focused and you know what you want, what your goal is, you know where you are and where you want to go. You understand where the gap is. That's healthy. Now, the second thing we need for you, the second pillar for sustainable success, think of these, if you would, as like, what does it take to have success last? What does it take to make a change last?